Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my final review on the cloth pads that I got for my birthday now, already 2 months ago. And I wanted to go ahead and finally do this review. I've been kind of dreading this one because this shop turned out to be a really big bummer. I am really dissatisfied with the pads and the order and basically everything about it. And so I'm going to go ahead and just get into that with you here. I'm not going to be linking her shop to this video because I do not want to support her in any way. I will tell you the shop name, and if you want to look it up yourself, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you everything that I ordered and kind of show you all the problems and go through everything that I had with this shop. And so, first thing, her shop is called Pinned. It's on Etsy, Pinnde. And she does a lot of, hers are like a custom kind of order where you order packages and, Lala, go on. My cat wants to be a part of the video. You order, you know, however many pads you want in a size, and you pay a little bit more if you want to pick the fabric, or you pay a little less if you don't want to pick the fabric. I guess I thought I was picking the fabric, and that didn't really turn out. So the first thing is here I have a wet bag that after I placed my order, she wanted to thank me for my order, so she wanted to send me a wet bag. And this is actually a wet dry bag, and I was really excited about that because I only had one other wet bag that I made for myself at the time, and I really wanted one. Well, this one, although the size is good, was made really poorly. The inside, the stitching is really gets stuck all the time. There's a ton of fabric bunched up in here, and the waterproof material she's using had a pattern on the other side, so you can see the pattern right through the fabric, and I think that that looks really unprofessional. I recently ordered another wet dry bag, and the waterproof fabric on the inside was not looking like this. This is diaper PUL. It's I don't know, this shouldn't be used for wet bags, I guess. I mean, unless you're letting your customers know that that's what you're using, because I just think it looks bad, and you can see it through the outside fabric as well, so it just doesn't look very good at all. This inside fabric here, you can see there's a ton of fabric bunched up here, and it's throughout the whole thing, so it doesn't even lay flat. It gets super bunchy all along the entire edge here, and even through the middle. It's like it wasn't even laid flat or anything when it was cut and sewn. Also, you can see actually kind of in the camera there, right in the middle, there's marker marks from her marking fabric. I did email her about that, and supposedly it comes off, but I haven't washed anything yet because I was waiting to do this review. I just don't think that that's professional at all to be leaving a bunch of marks all over fabric when you're sending it to customers. There's also marks on the back. Here in the middle, there's marks here, and you can see all those colors, or hopefully you can see it, from that PUL fabric going right through this one. And you can see the bunch ups here and here, and it was just made really bad, and the zipper does not zip very well because of all the bunching. So, I mean, I'm still going to try and use the bag, I guess, as long as I can, until it doesn't work. It was a nice gesture, but, you know, people shouldn't send junk to people, even if it is free. You know, if you're trying to please your customers, it should be something a little bit better quality, I think, than something that is hardly functioning and looks really bad. Anyways, my opinion. Next, I ordered 2 size pads of hers. I ordered her 8-inch pads and her 9-inch pads, and I will show you, I ordered 8 of these 8-inch pads and then 6 of the 9-inch. So the 8-inch here I ordered from her. She also does quilted pads, which I had never had before, and I really wanted to try them. So I got 2 that are quilted from her. The quilting ended up, this is the first problem that I came across. The quilting ended up really bad. As you can see, it was never laid flat, so there's a huge lump of fabric right here in the middle. You can see it's folded over there, and it's all the way up. And on this one, it is not nearly as bad, but on this top, you can kind of see that. It's a huge bunch. This one was really bad. It was never laid flat or anything. So, I have a feeling that bunching is probably going to be quite an annoyance for me, so I'm going to have to take the pads apart if I want to use them and sew them back together flat, probably cut off some fabric. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see once I wash them and stuff what I'm going to do with them. But all of hers are lined in this fleece. I want to say it's probably an anti-pill fleece, maybe. Her stitching is not that bad. You know, it's just kind of average stitching, but it is irregular, I guess you could say. But yeah, so these are the 2 that are quilted. These are 8-inch. You can see the irregular stitching there. I guess, I don't know, I may just be really picky. I've ordered a lot of pads off Etsy, and I haven't really had any pads that have looked, you know, this kind of just sloppy, I guess you could say, before. You know, I had a pad come once that had some markings on it, and it turned out to be some water marker or something, and it came off in the first wash, and it was no issue at all. But I've not had this kind of, you know, sloppy work before. You know, and I emailed the seller about this, and she said that she was busy with a bunch of orders and she didn't double check her work. But, you know, this is something I feel like when you have customers and they're going to be leaving reviews, I'm not going to leave this out, because I want people to know that this was my experience with that shop, because I went by other people's reviews by ordering from her, and now I feel like, should I have even trusted those people, because, you know, this is the kind of work I got. And I understand people get busy, but that's when you need to email people or shut down your shop and get caught up, not just send out a bunch of sloppy work and expect people to be okay with it. Alright, so that was a little rant there. Those are the 2 that were quilted, and then there's this one here. Oh, this one is quilted too, and this one actually was just fine on the quilting. I really liked how this one turned out. This was probably the only pad that I actually liked. These 2 right here. That was it. But yeah, there's those 2. There's a pink one, a green floral, and again you can see the stitching is just all kind of funky, I guess you could say. And then these 2 are some sort of like swim fabric. I don't know. They're really a weird, like, fabric. I don't know for sure what it is. And these ones were also not sewn to the top. They had a hidden top sewing or whatever. I can't remember what you call that. But these ones do not have any top stitching on them. The fabric on these is just really weird, and I don't know if I'm going to like that feeling. I think it's some sort of a swimwear or an odd knit fabric. I don't know, but it's weird. I don't really like it at all. But those are all of the 8-inch ones that I got. And then these are the 9 inches. So there's this one here. There is this one. There is this one. There is this one. This one. And this one. And so with these 8-inch pads, or 9-inch pads, I'm sorry, the pattern itself, that's where I started to have the issue, is the pattern itself is not even. This top portion here is smaller than this one, but when you fold it, they don't even match up. It's kind of an odd pattern, and her Etsy pictures did not do this justice at all. This is not what her pictures looked like at all, and so that's why I'm trying to figure out, I guess, how I ended up with kind of the way these pads looked versus the pictures that she had on her Etsy. This one you can tell a lot more that this top half here is much bigger than this side here. And then again, you can see the stitching is really off, not even any sort of center or anything. And so I don't know if she's meant to have like front bleeders, back bleeders kind of pads. I don't know. Her shop didn't mention that. It didn't mention that the pattern was an asymmetrical pattern, because I probably wouldn't have purchased it then. I mean, I wouldn't have purchased it now anyways, but because I only, you know, with these lighter everyday pads, I don't need an asymmetrical pad. So, and again, I thought I was picking these fabrics, and these are not fabrics that I would have picked at all. I asked for florals, and only, you know, some of them are florals, some of them aren't. Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe other people like these pads. These look similar to a shop I used to order from, Ding and Kenny. People might remember her. She used to do pads years ago. I have a ton of her pads. She had a very similar shape to these, but hers were symmetrical and just a lot neater and nicer looking. But yeah, so besides, you know, the asymmetrical situation and kind of the bad stitching, I don't know, I'm just not very pleased, and especially with the amount I paid for the two pads, that these two quilted pads that were bad. She was refunding me the money and going to send me new ones. Well, in the meantime, I had put my review on Etsy because I didn't want to lose out on being able to put my review out there for other people to kind of know my experience with the shop. And that's what I know the purpose of the review to be, not for the seller to kind of hound you and get kind of crazy about it. And that's kind of what happened with this lady. She hounded me a little bit about what was wrong with the other pads because I gave bad reviews, and I told her I wanted to be honest, you know, and I can always change the reviews when I receive the new pads. Well, it turns out because she gave me my money back for these and I gave her bad reviews, she decided not to send me any new pads. So, and I just talked to her again now, a little bit ago, because I thought I had new pads on the way, and she told me that she has no intention of sending me new pads because I gave her bad review. And so that is another reason why I'm not promoting her shop or linking her shop below, because I think it was really bad customer service, dishonesty. She said she supposedly sent me an email saying she wasn't going to send me pads, and that was over a month ago that we had last talked, and I haven't received anything from her. So it's really disappointing that somebody is trying to build a business and that's how they're doing their customer service. I was happy to get my money back for these two, just because if I have to go through the work to fix them, I might as well have made them myself. I make my own pads. The purpose of me going on Etsy to buy pads was because I wanted to have a nice something for my birthday. I wanted some new pads, and I was really disappointed with the shop. I think, I don't remember what I paid for everything. There was a discount code. That's why she was so busy making pads, is because there was a discount code for her shop when I ordered. But I do know that I probably paid maybe $60 or $70 for all these pads, and I would have rather spent my money at one of the shops I know I like. These little 8-inch pads, I don't know if I will, I don't know if I'll be able to wear them. They're really tiny. That's the other thing I was going to show you is this here is her 9-inch and this is her 8-inch. And there is quite the difference at the top. That's way more than an inch. It's like an inch and a half at least. And with the width of these 8-inch pads are super tiny, like probably only maybe a 2-inch gusset. And then these ones are probably 2.5 to 3. So that's another thing too, is just there was such inconsistency with the pads. You know, these ones here, even there's different sizing, and I understand homemade items. I love homemade items. I love, you know, supporting those that make homemade items. But, you know, if you're going to have a shop and sell to people, you need to be consistent, because it's just, it's not good image when you're selling something different every single time somebody orders from you, you know. And these two are supposed to be the same size, and you know, I'm just trying to show you guys that the consistency is just not there. And with these 8-inch pads too, you know, the sewing, you can see this got really cut off, and then there's other ones like these ones that are rounded, different sizes. I'll put this one on top of this one. You can see that even these two, which are both supposed to be 8 inches, there's a 1/2 inch difference right there. And then the wings are different, you know, so it's just, it was a bad Etsy experience, and I want people to know that, you know, you need to be aware of who you're ordering from. Read the reviews that people leave, because they're there for a reason. You know, people get items from shops. I've read reviews on things, and that's actually put me away from some shops sometimes, because I read the reviews, even if it's not specifically on the item exactly I'm purchasing, but maybe on something similar. You know, if somebody had a bad experience, or the quality or something like that, you know, you need to pay attention to those things, because you know, I understand that it's homemade items, you know, and everything is not going to be perfect, but you have to have consistency, especially when I've ordered 8 of supposedly the same size pad, and they're not even the same size, you know. And then there's such a huge difference between an 8-inch pad and a 9-inch pad. I mean, it's just, it's about quality, you know. People are going on there to purchase things for a purpose. I'm purchasing these so that I have them for a long time, that I can use them and reuse them. That's the purpose of a cloth pad. And, you know, when they're not made very well, when they're made inconsistent, when the stitching isn't very good, or things like that, you know, it only means that that pad is not going to last that long. It only means that item isn't going to last that long. And you need to be able to count on that when you're spending the money to get those items. And, you know, after talking to this lady again, because she wanted to know every detail of why I had given her bad reviews, and I finally just told her everything about her pads now, and I haven't heard back from her. So I'm pretty sure she's probably angry that I was being honest, but I'm going to be honest because I want people to know my experience. I want people to be able to go on to Etsy and say, you know what, I heard something bad about this shop. I saw the pads for myself. I don't think I'm going to order from her. You know, I'm not trying to be mean to her in any way, but it's about business in this instance, because I, you know, did a lot of thought, put a lot of thought into who I was ordering from, what I was doing, because I was ordering everything for my birthday, and I ordered a couple months in advance. And another thing with her shop is When I ordered from her, she had already put on there that it was going to be maybe a week or two before it would get shipped, which I'm fine with that. You told me ahead of time. But then when she created the shipping label, she created it so it supposedly said it was being sent to the post office, but a week later I emailed her wondering why it wasn't in the post office yet, because it still said post office hadn't received it. And then she told me she had gotten behind and hadn't even finished sewing my pads yet. So it's just kind of, you've got to be careful who you're doing business with. Watch the reviews. Look at everything. Make sure you can see pictures clearly. My first thing I should have thought when I looked at this shop is I thought the prices were going to be good and she had a sale, but her pictures were not very good and not up close of pads that she actually is selling, because there was pictures of pads in weird shapes. There was all different stuff, and these were not what were in the picture. So yeah, I am probably getting on a rant now, and this is getting really long. But I hope this gives you guys insight on to being careful what you buy. You know, some of these pads are still usable. Some of them I'm gonna have to do some restitching, like on these quilted ones, because they're so bunched in the middle that that's gonna be super uncomfortable. And then I'm gonna try and use them, and I guess see where it goes from there. But just beware, you know, that there are shops out there that the quality is not going to be what you expect. And just beware that you have the right to put whatever review you want on there. That's the other thing too, is she now has blocked me from changing my review on there. I don't know how she did that. I feel like that shouldn't even be an option for the seller. It should be the buyer that has the option to change their review whenever they want. I don't know. There might be somebody I might have to email to ask about that, because it shouldn't be the buyer's discretion when a purchaser can put their review and what they can review. Because at this point, you know, for these 8-inch pads, I gave a 2-star review. For the 9-inch pads, I gave a 3-star review. At this point, just with her kind of odd source of communication and customer service, I would probably just drop everything to a 1 and just be done with the shop. But anyways, now I think that's everything that I have to say about this. And like I said, I was really dreading this review because I don't want to give somebody a bad review. You know, I hate to be that person, but when you're spending this amount of money on a product, on something that you want to be reusable and last you a long time, you're expecting quality. You know, there's some shops on there where in their pictures you can clearly see they are not experienced sewers. This is just fun handmade stuff that they're selling, and that is fine because you know that's what you're gonna get. But you know, with other sellers, when all these people rant and rave about how wonderful their items are, and then you are the one to get their bad product, and then you have to review it, you know, that's when you become the bad guy. And I hate to be that person, because like I said, I love handmade items. I love homemade stuff. But you know, if it's meant to last a long time, I need it to last a long time. So anyways, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope this gives you some insight, and I hope you guys stay tuned to my channel. I hope this doesn't put you off from me or my personality, because I love doing videos. I love, you know, cloth pads, all sorts of other stuff, and I hope this doesn't make you think that I'm the bad guy. I just want to be honest and do an honest review, because that's what people need. You know, people are out there, especially on Etsy, they're going out there to buy things and they want an honest review so they know if they want to purchase something or not. So this is my honest review. I'm obviously not being paid for it, and I purchased everything with my own money, and yeah, that is the end of that. So we will see you for the next video.